All right, everybody, today we are talking about one of the most important subjects in all of Fiverdom, the Fiverr rating system. Don't miss it. Stick around, watch all the way to the end because I've got something really special to tell you at the end of this video. That's right, everybody. Today we're going over the details of the Fiverr rating system, how it works, what it does to your gig profile, what it does to your ability to sell, how it can help you, how it can hurt you, all these things. We're going over everything today, every little dot and tittle, so make sure you watch all the way to the end because I've got a little piece of bonus material for you at the end. You don't want to miss that, so make sure you stick around. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We're growing every single week. We appreciate you watching. That means that you are out there to learn. You want to get on this platform and make the most of it. And we're going to be making some very exciting announcements here in the next couple months about some new e-learning things that I'll be coming out with, some courses that'll help you even more with your Fiverr journey, things that I don't even talk about on this channel that I'm going to share in these courses. So you don't want to miss that. So stick around and subscribe. Today, we're going to dig into this rating system conversation so you'll understand how it works. And I'm going to start by giving you a little history about what ratings used to look like on Fiverr. Because today we're all very familiar with how a 5-star rating system works. It's how Google works. It's how Amazon works. It's pretty much a standard across all industries on the internet. But when Fiverr started way back in 2011, I believe, I started in 2013 on the platform, it was a simple system of thumbs up for a good job, thumbs down for a bad job. And that seems like a harmless system, right? Pretty easy to understand. The problem is it created a platform full of people who got way too many thumbs up because the way it was phrased was this a really bad experience? Well, no. I mean, if it wasn't, most people would just get thumbs up, whether it was super excellent, really good, or just mediocre and they were nice. You'd get a lot of thumbs up, very few thumbs down. And so it created a system where almost everybody rose to the top. Fiverr turned around not long after I had started, probably 2 or 3 years after, so maybe 2015, 2016, I don't remember the exact date, and said this system is actually hurting the platform because it's not allowing buyers to differentiate between the really great sellers who do a really great job of delivering and maybe the mediocre sellers who are a little cheaper and those that are really bad. There was almost no differentiation. You just couldn't tell because everyone's ratings were so high. So Fiverr switched over to the 5-star system that we're also familiar with, 1 through 5 stars, and you could actually rate a seller based on how well they did, and even a 3-star review was considered a positive review. It wasn't negative, but obviously not as good as 4 or 5 stars. Then Fiverr went even further to today's system where you don't just receive a 1 through 5-star rating, but you receive 3 different 5-star ratings in 3 different categories, and those ratings are totaled to equal your cumulative or overall rating for the work you have turned into a buyer. So let me real quickly go through the process for those of you that are new to selling on Fiverr and maybe have never sold anything before. Once you get an order and you do the work, you complete the work, then you'll go ahead and deliver that work to your customer or your buyer. And when they receive the delivered work, they have an option right below the delivery that says, are you ready to accept this as the final delivery? Yes or no. They can hit no to get revisions from you as the seller. Maybe these are tweaks to the project, or if everything looks good and they're ready to accept, they hit yes. And once they hit yes, they're taken to a screen that gives them the opportunity to rate you as a seller in 3 different categories. So pay attention to these categories. They are communication with the seller, services as described, or buy again and recommend. Those 3 categories, 1 through 5. Then their ratings in those 3 categories are averaged together to get your total cumulative rating, which displays on your profile for that project. So for instance, if you get 2 5-star ratings and 1 4-star, you'll get a 4.9-star review. If you get 2 4-stars and 1 5, you'll get a 4.7-star review. And you kind of see the idea here that those 3 categories, those 3 ratings are averaged to get your cumulative rating that then displays on your profile. Now, it's a pretty good system because it's very specific about things that matter most to Fiverr: communication, clarity, and whether or not someone would actually come back and be a repeat buyer, a very important thing. And if you haven't seen my video on that, I'm going to put it right up here. So after you're done with this one, because you don't want to miss this one, you can go watch this one about how to get repeat buyers on Fiverr, because it's very important. But this system is what dictates your overall seller rating. Every single rating you get is added together, accumulated together, and Fiverr displays this next to your profile picture on your gig page or your profile page to let people know you're a 5-star seller, you're a 4.7-star rated seller, whatever it is. This is the level that you're selling at. It's extremely helpful and very specific. Now, to ensure the rating system is not corrupted and maintains its transparency, Fiverr makes sure that you cannot see a buyer's rating while leaving your rating, and vice versa. Buyers cannot see what you have rated them on the transaction, so they cannot reciprocate with either a positive or negative review. They don't want buyers and sellers to influence each other when leaving ratings. They just want honesty. They just want transparency. Now, this is something that's pretty new to the platform. Back in the day, you used to see a buyer's rating before you left yours. So if they left you a nasty review and said something bad about you, well, you could just punch them back with a bad rating. Not that anybody did that. So in order to keep that from happening, now when a buyer leaves a seller a rating, you simply get a notification that you've received a rating and are now open to leave your own feedback for the buyer, meaning that you have the opportunity to leave feedback, but you can't see their feedback until you leave yours. And of course, if you choose not to leave your buyer feedback, that feedback for you will eventually be posted after a certain period of time. I don't remember. I didn't look it up. Maybe I'll look it up and put it down here. But it'll eventually post publicly anyway. So it doesn't matter whether you leave a review or not, their review will eventually post. Now, if a buyer happens to leave you a bad review and cites reasons that you believe are unfair, you actually, even though you've already left them a rating, you still have the opportunity to leave what's called a public rebuttal or a response. Right under their rating, you can leave a response if someone says, didn't do things on time, didn't do what I asked them to, but maybe it was a lot more on their end, like they didn't turn materials in and you couldn't do things on time. You could leave that response there. But unlike the old days, once a rating is left, it's there and it cannot be edited or removed by the buyer. Back in the old days of thumbs up, thumbs down, if something seemed unfair, you could reach out to the buyer and say, hey, I noticed you left me a negative review. I'd like to make that right. I didn't realize that you felt this way. Can I do something in exchange for you editing that negative review to a positive review? But nowadays, that simply cannot be done. They used to be able to click an edit button right next to their feedback and change it, I believe, up to like 30 days afterwards. But that was changed because sometimes if buyers didn't get their way, they'd go back and change a positive review to a negative review. Or sellers would find ways to manipulate buyers into changing their reviews by offering them extras or upgrades or freebies or whatever it was. It just kind of tainted the whole feedback system. And so all of that is gone. Now, once a rating is left, it's there forever. Now, when I say forever, I don't actually mean forever because I've had reviews taken off of my page before. I've had people try to blackmail me through a review, not knowing the permanency of their actions. I actually had a buyer one time who was very happy with the end product I sent him, but sent me a message, and since I didn't respond in 60 minutes, which is very fast to respond, he decided that he'd leave a negative review to get my attention, and even said that, I'm very happy with the product, I just did that to get your attention. So of course I reached out to customer service and said, hey, I'm being blackmailed by a seller or by a buyer to do something when they really didn't understand how the system worked. Fiverr was actually able to look back at the conversation, reach out to the buyer, figure out the whole situation, and actually remove their feedback. So it was something that I didn't know they could do because they've said that these things cannot be edited. But the truth is, if it is a really unfair scenario, customer service at times in the right circumstance, will be able to help you with that. But there's no longer an edit button that buyers and sellers can change on their own. That just makes sure that nothing out of bounds is happening, and the Fiverr rating system maintains its integrity. So make sure you know that, and make sure you communicate that to your buyers. Even though you can't influence their rating, you can let them know that the rating system is an important thing, that they should pay attention to it. Once they leave their rating, they won't be able to edit it. These are all things that you're allowed to say to your buyers and are not considered manipulation. Now, the other thing that you need to know is that sometimes, randomly it seems, Fiverr will reach out to buyers and it will ask them about their experience with a seller and let them know that this feedback will not be made public. Now, I believe this is being done so that they can skew their search results with the feedback that is left privately, so that people maybe would say things in private that they wouldn't say in public. Maybe they could get some extra insights. And I believe this does affect your place in the search engines, that even if you're getting good ratings, but people are saying, yeah, this seller is hard to deal with, in private, you may not ever know it, but Fiverr is getting that feedback. So just know that everything you do, every interaction you have with a buyer on Fiverr has a potential to be a part of an overall rating that Fiverr is looking at when placing you in search engines and placing your gig in categories and your rank and all these things. They all add up, and it's not just the public profile, but the private feedback is considered a part of that as well. And like I said, all of this affects your rank in both search results. I've said this before in my video about search engine optimization on Fiverr, that Fiverr doesn't care as much about how many orders you're getting as they do how many reviews you're getting. Because if you're filling a lot of orders but no one's leaving reviews, they have no idea how good of a job you're doing. So you're rewarded for the ratings you receive, not the orders or the traffic that you receive. And that's very, very important to notice, because in the end, all of these things add up to how much business, how much traffic, how many eyeballs are on your account. And really, people care most about ratings. They love to see your previous work, but what they care about most are your ratings, what other customers are saying about your work that you're delivering, and how they can expect their project to go, both with communication, whether or not this matches what you're describing in your gig description, or whether or not people who bought from you would buy again. All right, so you made it all the way to the end of the video. Here's your bonus piece of content for the week. Yeah! Just like anything else, in order to get good feedback, you have to ask for feedback from your buyers. So make sure that when you're delivering gigs, when you're sending that delivery message, you are saying, hey, please take time to leave me a rating, leave me a review, because that is very important. You can't ask for a specific review. You can't ask for a positive review. You can't ask for a 5-star review. If you do, you will get flagged and slapped on the wrist for manipulation, so don't do that stuff. What you can do is convey to your buyer that, hey, ratings are extremely important on this platform, like they are all over the internet. Please take the time to leave me a thoughtful review that has more to do with your experience with me and not your experience on the platform. That's something I've learned the hard way, as I've seen buyers dock me from 5 stars to 4 because they had trouble with the Fiverr ordering system or they didn't like the message system. I make sure and tell my buyers, this is not a rating on Fiverr. This is a rating of only me. It only affects me. So make sure you remember that when you're leaving a rating later, and please do. Thankfully, over the years, because I've asked for them, I've maintained about 75% of my buyers leaving ratings. That's a statistic that they'll give you on the dashboard. About 75% of my buyers have left a rating, and I've been able to maintain a 5-star rating over 8 years of selling now, 7 years of selling since 2013. So just a reminder, your bonus tip is if you don't ask for a rating, a lot of times you won't get one. And that's it for today, folks. Thank you for joining me on this edition of Fiverr Talks. As always, my name is Joel Young. I'm seller DJ Young on Fiverr. I'm one of Fiverr's all-time top earners and top sellers since 2013. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I share my insights, the knowledge that I've learned of really selling on the platform for 7+ years full-time and starting a business from this platform with you right here on this channel. So make sure you subscribe and don't miss a single thing, because it's only going to get better right here on Fiverr Talks, where all we ever talk about is Fiverr. Until next time, guys and gals, keep doing, because the future favors the doers.